Mr. Faso, this question, you'll begin the response. So this has to do with the U.S. Congress having historically low approval ratings now. A lot of it may have to do with the fact that folks have dug their heels in on both sides of the aisle. What could you do, what will you do to bring the sides together to finally see some progress in the halls of Congress? Mr. Faso.
I think this question actually is a very good one. It goes to the heart of what is the problem in America. We have the left listens to and watches MSNBC, the right listens and watches Fox, and they don't seem to understand that we're all Americans. If we're going to solve the overriding problems, and this is the overriding issue that I see in our country, we are not coming together to find common ground to fix problems. To me, compromise is not a dirty word. Our very founding, our very system of government, of checks and balances, is based upon compromise. Right at the founding of the Republic, Jefferson wanted the capital in Virginia. Hamilton wanted the capital in New York or Philadelphia, but Hamilton wanted the federal government to absorb the debts of the states for the Revolution. They compromised. They came up with a plan that had the federal capital in an area that was carved out from the District of, that is now the District of Columbia, from Maryland and Virginia. And they adopted, thank goodness they did, Hamilton's plan to have the federal government adopt the debts of the states from the Revolution. Chris Gibson has been a model. It's one of the reasons why, I was behind his candidacy in 2010. We've known each other for a long time. We've worked together. He is a model for working across and finding common ground to get things done. My entire public career, I've done that, and I think that's what we need in Washington. The financial trouble we are facing, literally within 10 years, every nickel the federal government takes in from taxpayers is going to go for Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, and interest on the debt. We are leaving a calamitous future for our children and grandchildren. We have to get more growth in the economy. Growth is the thing that will allow us to balance our books and create more opportunity for more people. That is the essence of America. That is the future that we need to leave to the next generation.
Thanks for the question. It's a question I hear everywhere in this district. Something's wrong in Congress. It's not working. Can we get Congress to start moving again? Why is it so corrupt? Why aren't our Congress members really listening to people who see what's going on? And the root issue here is that our members of Congress are spending way too much time talking to big donors instead of really listening to the real issues and trying to get the work done. And that's also part of the reason it's gridlocked. Do you know that the average Congress member spends between 40 and 70% of their time fundraising? Think about that. It's basically like it's their day job to fundraise instead of their day job to figure out how can we, bring in new renewable energy projects? How can we deal with flood mitigation? How can we deal with the real issues that they should be facing? So I'm proud that my average contribution is just $19. And I have spent this campaign and my life raising up people's voices. And when I'm in Congress, I'm going to spend my time working with people on the stuff that we can agree on, like the broadband access, cell service access, real economic development issues. When I was the National Director of the Sunlight Foundation, for instance, just to give you a sense of how I work, we were trying to figure out, trying to get a federal contracting database online so that we could see who our federal contractors were. So I worked with a bunch of Republicans, independents, hard right, hard left, all over the place. And we got thousands of people to call senators and say, hey, will you support pushing a federal contracting database online? That's a nonpartisan issue. Corruption is a nonpartisan problem, and transparency is a nonpartisan issue. I have a long history of working with people from wherever they come from, solving real problems, and that's what I'm going to do when I'm in Congress.
I think it really does raise a question as to, we are running for the House of Representatives. I have lived and worked in this district for 33 years. I've been all around this district and know people all throughout this district and familiar with the problems. I've got a record of working both in the public and private sector to advance the public interest. My opponent just registered to vote after moving in here in January. She has no history, no business, no family, no civic, no charitable connections to this district whatsoever. My wife and I have worked in civic and charitable endeavors, and if you're going to truly represent people, you should know something about them. You don't just fly in and parachute in and say, oh, I'm here from Brooklyn and I'm here to represent you. And I think that's a fundamental difference that people need to consider. It's a very, very important topic. How can you actually know and represent the people if you've never lived here? If you've never even paid any taxes here because you'd never have been here?
1 minute.
I mostly want to focus on, I think what people really want to know is like what I want to do and what we can do together when I'm in Congress. But I do want to just address what John just said. You know, I am really proud to have the support and partnership of Mike Hine, who I think has been an incredible leader in this county, the support and partnership of Steve Noble, and the support and partnership of Senator Gillibrand. And I have worked with many of you on fighting against fracking in New York State. I've sat in your kitchens to figure out how we can stop high-stakes testing and bring arts and music and sports into our schools and support that in our schools. And I am proud of those connections, and when I go to Congress, I'm going to keep raising up your voices and keep doing that kitchen table politics, which is where it's really at.